Hi everyone, Lauren from the Mama Pop Quilt Shop here. Welcome to Week On Project. We're putting binding on our wall hangings we did the other day. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, we're putting the binding on these wall hangings that I did up for lupus the other day. It's a silent auction being held at the end of this month. That's May 28th in Guelph, Ontario. And I did 2 of them, and now I'm just going to put the binding on them. Okay, so we'll take one off to the side here. We'll just plop them here for a second. We need to cut our binding now, so I put them over here, and I'm going to cut the binding 2.5-inch strips, and then we're going to sew them together, okay? So, I need to stand up for this. Need approximately 100 inches for each one. So you line her up. And this bolt right here is 44 inches wide, so I'll probably have to do about 6 strips total between the 2 wall hangings. Okay. And I found this purple in my stash, so instead of using black, this is what I chose to do. Okay. All right, let's see how far this gets us. We need at least 3. So we'll move this off to the side here. One of our little wall hangings back. Okay. What I like to do is sew from this side and then flip and sew on this side. So we need to do our binding strip first to make a continuous binding strip. This is how you lay it out. You don't want to use any of this stuff. See that stuff that's marked right there? You don't want to use any of that. So make sure when you're laying it, you're not counting for those 2. Okay. So now we need to flop over here and sew on an angle. You can either eyeball it or actually mark it out. That's completely up to you. I've done this a lot, so I kind of just eyeball it. And just work your way from one corner to the other, and then this is going to fold over, and you're going to see your continuous bias tape, right? Okay, for binding. Don't forget to do your little back step. Clip. Snip the excess off, and this just gets into your scrappy bin. All those little bits, okay? See, and that's how it looks. Okay? And you're just sewing it together, and then you're just going to keep working your way down the line. So there's a lot of prints out there that you can't tell whether it's top or bottom or backwards or forwards or whatever. Just do your best. And even with some of the solids, it doesn't really even seem to matter. Okay. Remember not to use any of this manufacturing label and color and swatch and all that sort of fun stuff. Save that for something else. A lot of people cut that off and they'll actually make a project with that. I've seen so many beautiful ones. Alright, remember just back step. Okay. So I think I only need 3, and I probably should have extra left over from going around on this wall hanging. So I'm just going to plop those over there. And we're going to start this here. And that's going to get covered. So you never really, so here's the wall hanging, right? There's the top and the bottom. You never really want to put your bias start or end at the top or the bottom. You want to start on one of the sides, because in that way it's not visible to the eye. They're always looking this way, right? Okay, so we're going to flip it over to the back side. This is the back side. We're going to start sewing on this side first. Okay. Fold this. Line it up. Make sure it's nice and flat. You're folded right in half. Then you line it up on your edge. Okay. I kind of try to go above the halfway point, so it's not like even at a halfway point, right, in the eye when you're looking at it. And just stitch all the way down. I'll show you how to go when you come to the corners. You're going to have to stop and pivot, and all that sort of fun stuff. I was doing strip piecing, or chaining blocks earlier, so that's why it's all fast. Because you can chain blocks really fast. Alright, so when you come into the end, see the end right here? You want to make sure you come about 1/4 of an inch before that spot, because you need to stop, do your stitch, flip your threads, and then you're going to have to turn this, flip, and there, and then you're going to restart this way. That's the best way to get miter corners. There's many YouTube videos I watched on that. See, so I'm getting close. And back stitch, flip my threads. Now do this little fold, just like that, nice and even, up, flip, line it up just like that, okay? Just like that. And that, when you flip to the other side, that gives you a nice little mitered corner on that other side. So now you need to come from the top and work your way all the way down to the other side. If sometimes you need to put a little pin in there, don't worry about it, just do it. And start and go all the way to the other side and do the same thing. And that's how you get around those corners. A lot of people sometimes just round out the corners because they don't want to deal with the mitered corners, but it's really not that hard. There's a couple ways to finish this off too. I'll show you the way that I like best. Just lining it up. If you watched my video from the other day, I was finishing this up on the long arm, and I said I had some pretty wackadoodle fabric on the back, and it clearly is. It's like it really is an art piece when you think about it from both sides. So it's nice to have extra texture to the visual prettiness of it, I guess. I don't know. What do I know? I just sew. Alright, clip. And then same thing again. I'm at this corner. Fold the fabric over. Make a nice little sharp point. Then flip. Hold her steady. Twist. And go. Easy peasy. If this monkey doodle can do it, so can you guys. So all the way over to the other edge. Just before. Once you do this a few times, it's so easy you don't even think about it anymore. And it just makes such a nice pretty corner. To me, it's not even really any extra steps or anything. Almost done. And then you just work your way around your project. Wall hanging, quilts, baby quilts, placemats, table runner, whatever. Same idea. Same purpose. Even bags. You know? Same way about making a bag. Just keep going around and around and almost there. As you can see, there's this extra tail. I'm just going to stitch down a little bit, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay. This down here. Sorry. There's a frog in my throat. They've been plowing the fields around my house here, so there's a lot of dust up there. And, of course, fertilizing. Okay. So I like to do this way, which is just cut, and then I fold this up. I usually cut this extra bulk off here. One here, okay? But you need a little bit of a tail because you're tucking that tail in, right? So you go like this. You're tucking it right in the half part. Tucking one inside the other. There's other ways to do this where it's even sewn on the angle. I haven't mastered that yet. And I like the way this is. So, see, it's just that simple. There we go. Clip. This is going to be added to the next one when I finish off that other wall hanging. And we literally just flip and do it all over again. And it'll be super peasy. Alright. I chose black thread just because it was the black accent on this little binding here. I didn't think about putting in another color purple. I mean, there was at least 3 on here as it was, so. And then you just stitch down. Okay, just line her up. Make sure when you come to your corners, you work so hard on the other side, make sure you do your little tuck and fold. And that gets you your miter corner. Why is your little bibbly bobbly threads that are being a pest? Okay, there we go. Just hold it and pivot. And just work your way down to the other side. If you wanted to hand stitch this on, you would sew it on the reverse side. You would actually sew it the first on this part and then flip to the other side and do all your tiny little hand stitches to secure the binding to the quilt or wall hanging or whatever. But I think it's just as easy and sometimes just as pretty to have a little stitched binding. It seems like you need about 10 hands just to get a few things done. Hold here, hold there. I think that got a little bit of a fold on that. There we go. Turn it here. Done. I'll just do the one today because you obviously know what's going on. Like I said, this was for lupus awareness. Hopefully it'll bring in a little bit, or somebody would get some, or at least some joy from the beautiful wall hanging. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that they just don't have a cure for yet. So, the question is, will they ever? But don't know. All right, we're almost there, folks. Now, remember, if you have any suggestions or questions or what have you, please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hi, fans. We here at the Mama Pop Quilt Shop thank you very much for watching. And hope you stay tuned for future videos here in the Mama Pop Quilt Shop. Alright, you gotta make sure you get that edge of the corner of the next one, of this side of the binding too. Before you do your stop and pivot. Okay. And we're almost there. Oops, I think I missed a smidge on there. I'll fix it. Either pick that out or just restitch. Actually, I think I'll pick it out and then restitch it, but for right now, it's fine. There we go. See? Doesn't that look good? And then right from the back side too. Like, looks awesome. All right, thank Thanks everyone for joining me for this weekend project. Stay tuned for future ones, and we'll see ya. Take care. Thanks.